Okay, so the babies are going to the babysitter. So I'm doing a quick recording on how I make their slurry pate stuff. Just so that if anybody has any questions or forgets a step, it's okay because it's all recorded. So here's 3 scoops of formula. The scooper is in the formula container. Here's some water. I'm going to stick it in the microwave on high for 3 minutes, and that makes it boil. As soon as it comes out of the microwave, which I use a pot holder to grab it with so that I don't burn myself, then I will take this measuring scoop, which is a 2 tablespoon measuring scoop, and I will put 6 tablespoons, this scoop, 6 of these in that formula, and mix it up until there are no lumps. Then it'll just be milk. Once I get that done, then I will show you what the next step is. Okay, the water you can see is hot and was bubbling 2 seconds ago. And there's the formula, so I just stick it really close to each other so I don't make a big mess. And 1, oops, sorry about that. Fog the whole system. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right, that is going to make the formula dissolve into the water, and then any big chunks that are left after a couple of seconds when I'm done mixing it in here, then I'll take all the chunks and smush them up against the side till there are no chunks, and then we will proceed with the next step. Remember, some of this does take some patience, and it seems like it's insane, but it's well worth it because you want all of the formula to be blended so that, one, they get all of the nutrients and vitamins and minerals out of the powdered formula, but also so that it doesn't clog the nipple and it doesn't cause them to choke. If you've ever taken a bite out of a brownie and it's real dry and powdery, you know it's disgusting. And you don't want that for your baby kitties. So, I'm just going to do this real quick. Sometimes it takes longer than others. And so, you just take your time. The water will cool a little, which is okay. I mean, it's not going to spoil or nothing. There are times where I'll stir it up, let it sit for, I don't know, probably a half minute to a minute or so. Come back, stir it again, and most all of the little bumps are dissolved. And I'll show you what it looks like with bumps. Here you can see. Those are its little bumps. That's the formula. And we just stick it to the side. And see if I can do this one-handed. Mash it up there. And then mix it into the hot water so that it's all diluted. So I'll go ahead and do this, and then I'll come back and show you the next step. And while I'm mashing up these lumps, I'm sure somebody's going to ask, okay, well, why are you making so much? Well, the reason is I can make this quantity, and I will put some of it, just the milk, or formula, into a bottle and put it in the refrigerator for storage, so that way I don't have to continuously keep making more formula. It does become time consuming, so work smarter, not harder. So once I got this all blended, then I will scoop a bunch of it into this handy dandy little bottle. This is a 2-ounce bottle, and I usually fill it all the way up to the rim before it starts to spill out. And there's a little nipple for it that does not have any holes. And we just store that in the little bottle as a storage container for future reference. And then the rest of it, we will go ahead and spoon some of it into another bottle, and some of it we will leave in the bowl, and we will mix up some of the Vibrant Life Complete Balance for Kittens wet cat food. And this is a classic pate, so it's not chunks, it's pate. And with babies, you always start them off with a pate, not chunks, especially because a lot of them, if they're bottle babies or they're weaning, they have not learned how to chew, so they still have the suction method when they eat. And so the pate is easier for them to suck up or learn to lap it up and chew it, where if you have chunky food, they can actually do what's called food sucking, and that's where they suck on the chunks of food and they don't actually eat them or get any of the nutrition from them, and they have a higher chance of choking and suffocating from it. So this is what has been recommended, and so this is what we do. And our babies are a little bit behind. We're pretty sure that they were both in the same sack, the twins were, and they seem to be a little bit on the preemie side, and so they're having a little bit of a slower development and everything, but that's okay. You work with the babies at their pace, not at your pace. You never rush a baby to grow up faster or wean off of the food, especially if you don't know what age it is. So make sure you're doing your research, and I'll come back and do some videos because I'm going to put together a course for one of the rescues that I'm involved in. I'm going to put together a course and go over some of the things that I've learned on what to do and what not to do, and how to determine the age of your kittens and how to take care of them. And if you don't want to wait for that, then you can always revert to the YouTube channel called Kitten Lady. She has a full channel, and that's where I've learned a lot of my information. So I don't have a link right now that I can add to this video, but feel free to go ahead and look her up and check it out. She's got some extremely good and useful information. So here you can see the formula is now almost lump free. And so now it is time to start spooning it into the storage bottle. And how I do that is, here it is. I have this handy dandy little funnel, and I'm just going to use the spoon and literally spoon the milk into the funnel that's going to funnel into the baby bottle. And we'll be back right after that. All right, there's the bottle, as you can see, full of formula. It's, over 2 ounces, but that's okay. And each one of these markings, 0.5 is half of an ounce, 0.1 is an ounce, and it goes up like that. So that's how we measure it in this bottle. And we stick this in the refrigerator for future usage. Now, we still have quite a bit of formula in the bowl, and you can see there's still a couple of chunks. So as you go, you just grind the chunks, blend them in, and then stir them into the liquid so they're still blended. So with that, we're going to go ahead and then break out our handy dandy little platter or plate. I have some kitten food, which is the pate I told you about earlier in this video. And what we're going to do is we're going to crack this little guy open. And I got to get my cat food spoon. Alright, and I know people are going to think I'm batshit crazy, but this is my cat's food spoon. And this is my cat formula spoon. And that's because I can handle it with my hands a little bit better. Arthritis doesn't always like to work with you, so you work with it. So what I'm going to do is flip you around here. Okay, this is it's a 3 ounce can. So I'm going to literally cut a corner of it and see if I can't do this one-handed. There we go. All right. And then, as you can see, I didn't get all of it. So we're just gonna scoop all the juice and what have you onto the plate. So then it is a clean cut of pate. Oops, you're gonna tip over and fall. Okay, so once it is on the plate, I'm gonna see if I can't be around so you can see this better. There we go, voila. Once it's on the plate, then we're just going to mash it up. And yes, it is room temperature, but it does have some of that little juices, so we're just going to kind of mix it up, make sure it's nice and mixed, and then I'm going to spread it out again. It's still going to be a little runny, but that's okay because we're going to make it even runnier after we heat it up. So now we're going to just spread it out a hair, and I'm going to take this squished kitten food and I'm going to put it back in the microwave for 5 seconds. Set, 5, go. And it's going to do its handy dandy little thing. That's going to heat it up, and then I just come back and give it 5 more seconds. Now the formula that we just made is warm, so we don't have to heat that up. Otherwise, I do heat the formula up in that handy dandy orange cup. As you can see, there is some water in it from the last time we heated it up. So once we have the kitten's food, pate, heated, now I'm going to go ahead and mix it up again. Okay, and since I already have a little bit of kitten formula from the last batch of kitten formula, I'm going to use that, so that way you know both sides. Otherwise, I would have already scooped some more formula into the second bottle. That would be this into there. And for now, we're going to use the last of the last formula, which is 1/2 of an ounce or 15 milliliters. And I'm just going to scoop 1 or 2 spoonfuls and make a big mess. Alright, I'm going to swish it around because that milk in the bowl is still warm. So this is just going to heat it up a hair so you get all the gunk off of the bottom of the bottle. We're going to take this 15 milliliters of formula, pour it on top there, and now we're going to continue by mixing it in. Now the reason we're adding the formula to the actual wet kitten food is to help the kittens not only determine the taste of it, because when they very first start slurry, they don't like the taste of regular food, and you want to keep them hydrated and get plenty of nutrients, and the formula does provide the nutrients, and the kitten food is just the next step up. So as you're weaning, you're going to mix the cat food with the formula into a slurry like this. Now if I were still bottle feeding and had to put this as a slurry into the bottle, then I would use a toothpick and pour it through the funnel and weasel the toothpick round and round to get all the big chunks smashed up and into the bottle with the nipple that is not the proper nipple. Oh, that's because it's in here. With the nipple with the biggest hole. And this one you can see is got a great big nipple hole. This one is the second next biggest nipple hole. It's kind of at an angle. And this one here is the third, which is the smallest nipple hole. Okay, so now that we've got this mixed, like I said, I would usually scoop this into a bottle, make sure it has a good size hole, so that when you're testing it, it drips out 1 drop at a time. That way the baby does not choke on it, but still gets enough of the food. But since we're not doing that, we are going to feed this directly to the babies. That's all we do. So, now this is not quite enough for both kitties, but one of the kitties is still not taking to it very well. So we're going to introduce them to this, see if both of them take to it, and if so, then I can always come back and make more so that there's enough. And I will let them eat until they stop. They will, when they're done eating, they will get up and walk away. That's when I know that they're done eating. Then I will still offer them the slurry in the bottle, and it's also just as liquidy, if not a little bit more liquidy. I'll still offer them the bottle to see if they want any more, and that's just to guarantee that they do not dehydrate. That's the most important thing, is you want to make sure that they're having enough liquids in their system. Sometimes they take it, sometimes they'll just chew on the nipple, and that's when my kitties tell me I don't want any. So that's okay. Once you're done doing that, then what I do is I put them back in their playpen, because I feed them one at a time. I feed them on the platter, then one at a time I offer them the slurry. As they're in the playpen, they'll usually piddle and use the kitty box, and after that, then I will weigh them one by one. I always document the weight and how much they've eaten, except for now that they're starting to eat off of a plate. We just mentioned, is it a thicker slurry, like if I just gave them the pate, or did I give them the slurry, which is what you just watched me make? And so that way I can keep track. And then, of course, I also mention if they have taken any of the liquid slurry after they've eaten off of the platter. Hopefully that helps you some. So I know probably most of you are like, why are you doing this? Well, like I said at the beginning of this video, I am getting ready to have the babies babysat with my co-foster friends. So just wanted to make sure that they had everything covered. So thank you guys for watching, and make sure you like and subscribe. Remember, you are someone, you do matter. I love you. And for the ones who are helping me, thank you so much for babysitting my babies. I know you're going to do fantastic. I have all the trust in you. And if you have any questions or concerns, you got me on Facebook, or you got me on YouTube, and you do have my phone number. Feel free to call anytime. Until then, ciao now.